Lunch with the Dead. The fluorescent light above me hummed, a low, mechanical reminder that I was still here, still breathing. The ER stank of antiseptic and human exhaustion. My ribs burned every time I shifted. The nurse had just finished wrapping them when I reached for my phone. A single thought in my head: call her, she'll come. I typed fast: bad accident, at the ER, can you pick me up? It took her 4 minutes to reply: sorry, at lunch with my male best friend, can't just leave. I read it twice, 3 times. Not are you okay, not where are you hurt, just can't leave. I stared at the phone until my vision blurred. Then I typed one word: okay. My hand didn't shake, my breathing didn't change, but somewhere deep inside, something heavy and permanent broke free, like a steel door unlocking in a long-forgotten room. I pressed the call button for the nurse. Can you call the police officer who brought me in? Tell him I need to speak to him. By the time the officer stepped into the room, my mind had already moved past the accident, past the pain, straight to her table. He stood by the bed, hands hooked casually into his belt. You all right to talk? I nodded. She's at a restaurant right now. You know, the one on 5th, the one with the glass wall facing the street? Yeah, I need you to go there. Don't tell her I asked, just tell her something for me. He didn't ask what. He didn't need to. There was a certain tone a man uses when the subject is his wife and another man. The officer had heard it before. I told him the message. Calmly, slowly. He raised his eyebrows slightly, then nodded once and left. Lying there, I could still see her face in my mind, tilted toward him, eyes soft, laughing too easily. The way she'd looked at me in the early years, before the weight of familiarity dulled her expressions. I thought about the times she'd said, he's just like a brother. About how she'd hide her phone in the couch cushions when I walked in. About the sudden, unexplained weekends away with her college friends. The accident wasn't an ending, it was an unveiling. They discharged me within the hour. The pain was a quiet, secondary hum beneath something sharper: focus. At home, I sat in the dim light of my office and pulled out the drawer she never checked. Inside, 3 months of quiet collecting. Itemized credit card statements with restaurants I'd never been to. Printouts of her text logs, half deleted from her phone but stored on the cloud she didn't know I had access to. Photos from a private investigator, her hand on his arm in that too familiar way, her leaning across the table, smiling at him like the rest of the world had stopped existing. I hadn't confronted her, not then. I wanted her to feel untouchable, safe, because people only reveal their truest selves when they believe they're not being watched. I placed all of it into a manila envelope, sealed it, and left it on my desk. Not for her, for me. A record of how a marriage corrodes in silence. I poured a glass of water and sat by the window. Then my phone buzzed. From the officer, message delivered. You should have seen her face. I stared at the screen for a long moment, then set the phone down without replying. When she walked in 2 hours later, she smelled faintly of wine and the perfume she reserved for nights out, not lunches. She looked at me, really looked, for the first time in weeks. You're home, she said, her tone carefully neutral. I didn't answer, just slid the manila envelope across the coffee table. She opened it. Her breath hitched at the first photo. By the third, her hand trembled. Where did you get this? I watched her eyes, tracking each line of text on the receipts, each timestamp in the logs. She was searching for a version of events that would save her. There's nothing to explain, I said quietly. Her lips parted, then closed. The silence stretched between us, heavy, absolute. I told the officer to tell you something when he came to the restaurant, I said. My voice was steady, almost conversational. She blinked. What did you... That your husband was in the ER after a bad accident, and he told me to let you finish your lunch. Color drained from her face. She understood instantly what that meant, what it revealed about her priorities, her instincts. It's not, she began. I stood, careful not to wince at the pull in my ribs. "You've already said enough." She reached for me, but I stepped back. Not quickly, not angrily, just enough to make the space between us permanent. Her eyes filled, but I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no rage. Just the quiet, perfect stillness of a decision already made. That night, I slept in the guest room. Her side of the bed remained untouched, the covers perfectly smooth. In the morning, I brewed coffee, poured it into a travel mug, and left without waking her. The air outside was cold and sharp, the kind that makes you feel more alive simply because it bites. I drove past the restaurant on 5th. The glass wall reflected the rising sun, erasing everything inside. People think betrayal is a wound. It's not. It's an amputation. And once the limb is gone, you stop feeling it altogether. I didn't look back.